Greetings, everybody. Hello out there, and welcome to another Catch Up with Mayo Q&A. I'm going to try to do this at least once a week, hopefully the same time, Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. So I'll keep you updated if there are any changes or anything like that. And unfortunately, I no longer have a laptop that's really working. So I'm doing this from my phone, which I've done a lot of these from my phone before. But the only problem is to scroll, I have to reach up here and you put my arm up, and that I'd rather not do that. I'd rather have a mouse. I'm used to doing the mouse on my laptop, but I can't do that. So yeah, this is what is going to be for a while. I expect to get a new laptop, hopefully 4th of July time weekend. You know, excuse me. So I see we got some people already filing in there. We already have a question from James. I don't know if James is still there, but James, I'm aware of your question, and I'm aware of the situation, but I don't really want to discuss that here. So please don't ask it. I think it's the second time you've talked about that. But let's skip to something else. Hello, Dino. Good to see you. All right. So what's going on, folks? Yeah, I kind of feel better with my headset on, because again, you're going to hear everything that goes on. If somebody flushes the toilet, enjoy it back there. If the train goes by outside, you may hear that. Enjoy that. Joe F, hello. Any further insight into the upcoming Beatles release? No, I'm kind of like petered out with that. If you look, you'll see that I've done a bunch of videos, and I hope you watch my Fab Gab show. If you haven't seen that, yesterday I did a live show where I talked with Kid O'Toole and Beatley Tone, and we discussed everything we know and all the speculation about the new Beatles single. So we're assuming it's going to be a single, not a bunch of songs. So I don't really have any information on that here. I made a few videos on it, and I did the panel discussion. If you want to check out the panel discussion. Hello, David. Thank you. Always good to see you here. Thank you so much for showing up, for your support. And, yeah, well, even though you missed my live chat about the Fab Gab, you can see it up here. All you got to do is go over into the live section, or either the live section or the playlist. Look for the playlist where it says Fab Gab. Do playlists, scroll down and look for the Fab Gab lists, and you'll see the show there. I don't think it shows up on the regular standard video page. I think you got to either hit the live button looking for live videos or the Fab Gab playlist. I wish you had the option to put them on your regular page with all your regular videos, but we don't have that option anymore because YouTube took it away from us. So there you have it. Mr. Beatles Pro, hello. What's going on, Tom? Yes, indeed. I know you got a couple of videos out there I've yet to catch up with. How you doing? Uh, yeah, I tend to put my hand up like this when I'm not doing the mouse thing with the laptop. So, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, Windows 8 is no longer supported. Yes, absolutely. I think you're right. It will only get worse. Absolutely. I knew that was the case. Thank you, Mick64. Yeah, at first I couldn't get on Google Chrome anymore with Windows 8, and now I was trying Firefox for a few times, and that worked for a while, and now Firefox isn't working either. So I guess Windows 8, we're done. Yeah, I understand it'll only get worse. I realize that. So it doesn't work anymore. I can't access anything. I got to do everything from my phone. I am going to get another laptop with Windows 10 or 11 or whatever the heck they're up to now. I'm going to do that. Oh, you see, over there. Okay, over here. You got the cold turkey picture sleeve, Scott. Yeah, right there. I put my shoulder down. Yes, indeed. Got some stuff there in the background. Yeah, that's a rare one. And so is, yeah, the mother as well, right? Yeah, mother, the two of them, mother and cold turkey. Yeah, those are two rare picture sleeves that I got at the Fest for Beatles fans. Absolutely. What is the best Lennon album? Oh, do you know? I don't know. It's a cross between a tie between John Lennon Plastic Ono Band and Imagine in my book. Those two. Woodland Goblin. I'm sorry. Yeah, the 4 p.m. start is rough. Just on my way home from food shopping. Well, don't know what to do. You can't please everybody, and you're one of my regular viewers, so I certainly would like you to be able to come here. But this is about the time I got to do it. 4 o'clock is a good time because that allows people in the UK to come on. It's only like 9 p.m. there, and places to the west in the states, it'll be like 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock or something. So it's actually 4 o'clock is a good neutral time on a Saturday, but of course there are going to be people who are working. There are going to be people who are out for the weekend. I realize that. So I do the best I can with the time, you know. I like that. I like the idea of getting people used to one time, one set time that maybe I do this every week. Oh, you'll be home in a few minutes. So you wasted all my time here, Woodland, making me get all apologetic. Hello, Raymond. What's going on? Yeah, I really don't enjoy doing this for my phone, but better than nothing, right? Better than nothing. So that's what I'm doing. And I realize if I do these once a week, it's not always everything to do. Video freeze frame of Don sticking an electric razor up his nose keeps popping up on my screen. It's so repellent to look at. Well, he's not really sticking it up his nose, I don't think, is he? Or is it up his nose or on his nose? I don't even remember. What's my favorite monster movie? Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman from 1943, probably. Windows 10 is set to lose support in 2025. Unbelievable. What a dumb world this is, huh? This dumb world. Everybody says Windows 8 wasn't great. I really don't know. I mean, I'm not a tech expert, but I've never really had much of a problem with Windows 8, though I know a lot of people said they're not too happy about it. So I kind of made do with it, and I never really had a problem with it that I know of. So now I guess I should look for Windows 11, huh? That's really fantastic, isn't it? Buy a computer, it should last you like 10 years at least. Hello, Claire Adam. Aldum, I'm sorry, I said Adam. Aldum, there's an L in there. The bootleg of the Black Album. People think I don't think it's worth anything, honestly. Bootleg albums are only worth $20, $30. I mean, it depends what they are. Some of them are worth 5 or 10. Bootlegs are not really that desirable these days, I don't think. The Black Album is a popular one, but it's a double album, isn't it? I would think maybe you could get. I don't know. I don't know how much you can get for it. I know that they probably sell it for $20, $25, $25. Shouldn't sell it for anything more than that. Is there anything coming out on CD or video that I'm anxiously waiting for? There's some movie stuff maybe, but movie stuff I'm waiting for. Waiting for After Hours on Criterion, the Martin Scorsese movie. But as far as music stuff, not really. Other than wondering what this Beatles thing is going to be that they're talking about now. Oh, it's a triple LP. Okay, I don't have the Black Album. All right, well, there you go. So just because I'm not familiar with it. I've heard of it. It's very popular. I've got tons of bootlegs over here in this section here, all bootlegs, but I don't have that one. And I tell you, as time goes on, I am buying less and less vinyl and less bootlegs and all kinds of things. If the cover is interesting, if it's a fascinating cover, maybe. But you'll still see me buy things. As some of you know, I don't have it handy here. Just recently got a Bob Dylan record, Bob Dylan EP, 7-inch record. Sorry about this, folks. Oh, I see. Windows 10 came out in 2015 and will end in. Well, Windows 10 came out in 2015, but from 2015 to now, I've been using a Windows 8. So, and I've been fine up to now. So, I guess Windows 10 will probably go beyond 2025. I don't know. I'm going to try to get 11 if I can, I guess. David says, I have Windows 8.1. Google Chrome still works fine for me, but you can't get updates. Well, that's what I think happened. I don't know what's going on with me, David. I don't know. I mean, Firefox doesn't work anymore. It was working up till yesterday, and Google Chrome. Yeah, you can't get updates, but I think you need updates in order for it to work after a while. No, isn't that the point? That if you don't can't get updates, it can't work. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't. I definitely not tech savvy. You know, I learn as I go, a little bit here and there. No, I'm not going to trade in all things must pass. No, I'm not. Thank you for the suggestion, Woodland. If I'm ever ready, I'll let you all know. No, I have no interest in Aerosmith, none at all. Um, I mean, you know, I like a few songs. You know, I think I may have their so-called greatest hits. I know a lot of people out there don't like that. You do collect, you know, most people can collect their way. I collect my way. I like what I like, and not what anybody else likes. Henry, what's going on, Henry? Okay, James wants to know. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Yeah, was Maliva the gypsy in jail or the castle? I think she was in the castle because if I remember the movie correctly, as much as I know it by heart, actually, uh, I think there's a scene. I think she's in the castle. You know, she's not in jail. They don't account for the gypsy woman. They should have had the gypsy woman leaving along with the male hero and the woman. You know, they should have had all three of them. Hello to Darren Gamble out there. Yeah, Windows 11. That's what I'm going. When I get this new computer, that's what I'm going to be going for. And I don't know what brand to get. The one I have had is a Hewlett Packard. I've stuck with Hewlett Packard for a long time. It was also Dell. I'm probably not going to get anything other than Hewlett Packard or Dell. I probably wouldn't try it as some other name. No singing today, I'm afraid. No singing today. Depends where I am, Darren, and what my mood is today. You know, I could hear somebody squeaking about upstairs. Somebody's walking around. The floorboards are squeaking. Somebody's up there, so I'm not really going to do that today here. I'm more likely to do that in my car. You know, one guy says Hewlett Packard, other guy says Dell. So there you go. I tend to stick with what I'm familiar with and what works. Like, you know, the old if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. Like in other words, you know, if it Hewlett Packard's been good to me pretty much. So what did I think of Lugosi's portrayal of the Frankenstein monster? Well, it makes you chuckle, but I respect it. And I like Bela Lugosi as the Frankenstein monster because I don't know if you know the history or not, but you know, as it was filmed that he actually had the brain of Igor the Shepherd from the movie before, The Ghost of Frankenstein. And in that movie, he originally was shot speaking with Igor's voice. He's supposed to be basically Igor in the monster's body and he also spoke originally. He spoke in Igor's voice, and he was blind. That's why Lugosi looks like he's stumbling about with his arms out through the whole movie, like a stiff, because he's kind of playing it as it was shot. But anyway, long story short, as you may know already, when they did a screening of it before they released the movie, people laughed their asses off because it was so funny seeing Lugosi speaking, really the monster's voice like that. So they cut it. They cut it out, and now when you watch the movie, it doesn't make any sense why he's walking around like this because they don't say you don't know he's blind anymore. Anyway, that's how that goes. How come I'm not into the mamas and the papas? Who said I'm not into? Well, first of all, how can you get into the mamas and the papas? I do like the mamas and the papas. They've got like maybe five, six, seven songs I really like. Um, I have a greatest hits compilation. That's all I want, and I like them. But how do you get really into the Mamas and Papas? I mean, there's not that much material there. What do I think of wrap sandwiches as a person who doesn't like the hinge sandwich? I don't mind wraps. I think wraps are wrap sandwiches actually. It contains all the food. It's fine. I like the wraps. Yes, Ralph Gomez. I've heard of and I own up there. The Magical Mystery Tour, German Horde Zoo. Yes, it's. I used to have two copies of it. I don't know if I still have two copies of it, but I definitely have at least one. It's true stereo. It's really good. That's a big grail. That's a golden item in Beatles collecting. Everybody who's a Beatles collector really should have the Magical Mystery Tour German press. Well, Joe, if you can get around $1,000, go for an HP. I think you're wrong. I think you're dead wrong. I think they got them anywhere from 300 to four, five, six, $700. Eight. I don't think you got. I think they're all different prices. Woodland, I think you're dead wrong. Anybody confirm or deny? Yeah, that Savage Young Beatles is it a real album? Actually, well, wait a minute. I think that's a bootleg up there. Actually, the reason I have it up there is because it's signed by Pete Best. I think it's a bootleg. I'm pretty sure it's a bootleg. It doesn't matter. I only really wanted that one for the cover to get Pete Best to sign it. I wanted Pete Best to sign that for most of my collecting life, and I finally got the opportunity last year. So that's good. Yeah, I appreciate that, Nick. I was saying that last time. If you would like to send me a gift of the French Connection Blu-ray, I would be very grateful. Thank you so much for that. I don't have it on Blu-ray yet, and I think you had offered it last time. Absolutely. What's my favorite Dracula movie? I like Dracula's Daughter from 1936. It's not even really a Dracula movie. And then I like some of the Hammer movies. I like Dracula Has Risen from the Grave is like one of my favorite Dracula movies. I like Scars of Dracula too. Scars of Dracula. And there's a lot of other Draculas from the 50s, like a movie from 1958 called The Return of Dracula. My room is awesome, thank you, but it's very small. Thank you so much, Nick. I really appreciate it. Okay, Maureen says, generally speaking, Hewlett Packard laptops are around $500 to $600. That's what I figure. I expect to pay about 800. The cheaper the better. Five or six is even better than eight, of course. And I'm going to try to do what I can. We're hoping there's going to be a Fourth of July sale. We're going to look for the Fourth of July, hopefully. Thank you for that. Do I like zombie movies? Yeah, sure. Some of them I like. Like Night of the Living Dead. I don't like Dawn of the Dead. Night of the Living Dead is the best. But I also like the third in the Romero trilogy, the original trilogy, Day of the Dead. I like that one. Hello, Penny Lane. You're in my ears and in my eyes. You changed your name to Penny Lane 67? I don't remember the 67 unless I'm just not very observant lately. Hello, Jim. Very good. Congratulations on the picture disc of Help from Switzerland. Okay, everybody. So, what's on your so-called minds? Let's go. It's good to hear people being here, see people being here. You don't hear them, you see them, you read them. So, Yeah, when you say Zombieland is hilarious, you lose me because I don't like hilarious zombie movies. To me, the zombie movie should be scary, not hilarious. But I get it's a comedy. As I say, if it's an all-out comedy, if you make it a spoof, which I think Zombieland is a spoof, then it's okay. And I do not like an American Werewolf in London, David. I can't. I guess that's a perfect example. That's a horror movie that's not supposed to be a comedy, but yet it's goofy, and I don't like it for that reason. Although the special effects in An American Werewolf in London, I think, are really good. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I'm not into cars. Beetle Brad, my good friend. Hello, Beetle Brad, if you're watching. Beetle Brad was on Doc Dacus's chat. And he was showing a lot of cars. He likes cars collecting, and I'm just not interested in cars. So I joked around. I said, "Boy, this would be interesting if I was interested in cars." Do I like the Let It Be Naked album? Not very much. Some tracks I like. I like some of the tracks across the universe. I like that. I like Don't Let Me Down on that. And I think I like I've Got a Feeling on that. Is there any celebrity I'd like to meet? Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr. If I had time to think more without reading the comments, I'd probably could come up with a lot more. But I'm very happy that most of the people. I'd like to meet James Brolin and Richard Benjamin, both of whom were in the movie Westworld. Because mostly people, I like to meet people who are on things that I like a lot. You know. And I'm very fortunate that in my life I've managed to meet a lot of the celebrities. Like I've met people associated with a lot of the movies I like, TV shows I like, and the Beatles and music and stuff like that. So I've gotten very, very lucky that way. Um, I prefer Phil Spector's "Let It Be" way over the naked. Am I aware of the females Beatles YouTuber that you mentioned? Yes, well, I'm aware of her. Yes, I mean I've seen her. Not very well, but I know who she is. I know what she looks like. I've seen a couple of videos. The 60th anniversary of With the Beatles. What an album. Where does it sit in your UK album ranking? Sometimes, Jim, I put it number one. I put it number one in the past. Right now, maybe not. I think With the Beatles is so underrated. People always are putting that down because there's some cover songs on it, really. But that's the Beatles at their early prime when they're really getting better. They're better on With the Beatles. They're getting better than they were even on Please Please Me. And they're starting to write better songs, and they're young and in their prime and hungry and really full of energy. And Beatlemania is starting to really click in England and elsewhere. Yeah, it's really a good album. But I suppose Marcus, yeah, you Meet the Beatles. Meet the Beatles has better songs on it in a way. They do a good job with Meet the Beatles. Yes, I've been asked about the Vinyl Rewind. I've seen him before. I don't really care for that particular person. Nothing personally, just the videos. I mean, I don't understand getting all dressed up to the nines with your suit and tie on and sitting there with a cup of cappuccino or whatever, a glass of wine, a champagne with a fire blazing. It's to me, it's very much. I don't know. To me, I'm just not a fan of channels that are mostly for show. Like, you know what I mean? They were more interested with like gimmicks and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I do as many gimmicks here and there as I can. I don't think I'd ever go that much. I have to learn how to do a few more things, but overall, I think it's about the person. Hopefully, people are here, as I know they are, because they've told me. For me, in other words, they like what I say. They like me personally, and I appreciate that. Thank you. A lot of people told me that, and that's what should really move a channel, not how many I don't know, fancy captions or music or pictures and film clips and things they can put through there. That's just my opinion. Mm. Yeah, well, yeah, Jim, you got the early stuff. Yeah, it's all great there. You have early Beatles, mid Beatles, and later Beatles. And it's all great in different ways in a short period of time. It is amazing, Henry, how the Beatles went from simple pop stuff like "I Want to Hold Your Hand" to hard rock like "Revolution," "Helter Skelter." Yeah, it is amazing. It is, how much they did. It's really only 7 years, really. Yes, George. Well, I say George, GEO Tech. Mhm. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Yeah. All I could tell you is about that. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that person. This is not what this place is for. However, I did watch a video of his, and he talked about a song called "And I Loved Her," and I loved with a D at the end, and I loved her. And I said, I don't care how fancy this guy dresses, or how many good ties he's got. You got to know the song is "And I Love Her," and I loved her. Hello, Joe Gunnery. Hello, George. Music for all four seasons. Sorry, folks. I got to put my hand up here. Just the way it is, thumb and everything. What's your favorite solo Beatles compilation album? Probably Wings Greatest. Still, I really like Wings Greatest a lot for 1978. I don't know. It's tight. It really has everything except for listen to what the man said. You need that. How was my dentist appointment yesterday? Thank you for asking, Astro Zombie. Well, I had a 2 weeks ago today. I had a molar pulled, and it would have been routine except for the fact that it was infected anyway, and I was still having a little pain here 2 weeks later. It's still, as I'm talking now, when you talk and move around, you can feel it. But he said everything's healing nicely. Everything looks normal. Just hang in there for a little while longer, and yeah, so I'm all right about it. I'm glad I got that confirmation. He says this is par for the course sometimes, etc. So, yeah, let it be. A lot of times, Maureen. A lot of times, let it be gets lower on the list by a lot of fans. But I do like the White Album. I think the White Album is great. Is really great. Well, they're all great. They're all great. But favorite wise, I think the White Album. I like the White Album because it has so much different material. Very versatile. Okay, and so yeah, Rubber Soul. A lot of people like Rubber Soul the best. If I could go back and live in 1967, would I be a hippie? You never know. You can't really say, but Woodland, I'll tell you, the way that I am, I never follow the crowd. I've always been like that. I've always been in my own guy. When I was in school, I was not one of I don't know what you call it, the cool jocks. And I was not a geek. I was not a nerd. I was always a regular guy right in the middle, And so and I went my own way. I mean, I didn't smoke cigarettes. I didn't do drugs or smoke pot on myself, and I do what I want to do. So I tend to think that if I was in 1967, I wouldn't be too much of a hippie either. I have no idea or follow LSD or all that crap. So I don't know. A new computer is a business expense, isn't it? Thank you for reminding me of that. I didn't think of that, but that is true, isn't it? It is true, isn't it? hippies didn't follow the crowd. They were anti-establishment. Yeah, but that's not what I mean. I just mean the dress code and everything. You don't see me walking around with a, like this, do you? You know, you don't see me walking around like this, following the crowd. Second thought, maybe I should keep this on. What do you think? Yeah. Do I look like I'm part of today? I'll stand up and let my pants hang off and everything. Do I look like I'm part of today? Hey, I'm cool. It's probably not even popular today. That's probably more like 20, 30 years ago. But anyway, so I fix my hair. Need a haircut. Let's see. Oh, geez, I lost the comments. No, I didn't. Geez, if I lose the comments, I'm dead. Uh, do I prefer Eye of the Storm or the lyrics book? They each have their own purpose. Eye of the Storm has good pictures. Lyrics has good words. Do I like tie-dye shirts? I used to have a really cool one that actually had it was a Joan Jett tie-dye shirt, and I used to wear a medium. Let me tell you, it was a medium, and it had Joan Jett on it. It was tie-dye. It was cool. I liked it. Let's see. If you still have a full head of hair, don't cover it up. I like that. I like that. Well, it's only sometimes when you don't feel like washing it, you have to cover it. You cover it. Cover it. Oh, you have a bad hair day. One of a kind, real to real Beatles. I don't have any. Thank you for that, but I wouldn't have any idea the value of that. I really, honestly wouldn't. I'm not. I know some things. I know a lot of things at the Beatles. When it comes to stuff like that, I wouldn't have any idea of the value, honestly. No, I have not seen the Quarrymen live. And you mean the recent more modern time Quarrymen? No. Okay. Maureen, I dressed in bell-bottom hippie clothes, but did not follow the culture. Drugs, bumming off people, no job, not remembering the next day, drugged out, not me. Yeah, that's what I'm at. I don't know. I just think there's so much to get excited about, enjoying life, music, movies, um, comic books. There's like so much stuff. It's such a world of wonder and escapism. That's how I've always, as a kid, that's how I always was. I liked my records. I used to play my little 45s on my little record player. I like the Beatles. I like movies, monster movies. I mean, science fiction. I mean, I just don't get it. I'm sorry. To me, that's enough of an escapism. I don't never needed anything else. At least that's the way I always was. Oh, Tom Hunyadi likes ketchup and mayo, but not together. Haha. Actually, I like ketchup and mayo together. That's a good mix. And sometimes on hamburger, that's what I would do. Do I ever drink wine? I drunk wine. I haven't had it in a long time. I don't drink generally, but you know, I like beer now. And I mean, beer now. I'm going to a Fourth of July barbecue. I'm supposed to go. Hopefully, they get nice weather, and I'll probably have my annual couple of beers. That's what I do. I go to a barbecue. You know, secret sauce. Yeah, what's the secret sauce? Ketchup and mayonnaise. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right? What's my favorite Beatles EP? Oh, I'd have to think about that one. I can't picture them all in my mind. I might say Long Tall Sally only because that's like new songs. It's not just the same songs like repeated. They got like Call Your Name and they got Slow Down and Matchbox and so forth. Sorry, hold on. Do I like Curse of the Werewolf or Moon of the Wolf? Curse of the Werewolf is boring as hell. There's a gorgeous woman in it at the beginning called Yvonne Romaine. She's absolutely drop dead gorgeous, I think. She's the most one of the most beautiful women ever graced this earth. And she's beautiful, but the movie's boring as hell. The werewolf is good at the end of it. The movie Moon of the Wolf, I've seen Moon of the Wolf on TV. I know David Jansen is in it, I think, but Bradford Dillman, I think, too. But I don't remember it being that good. I haven't seen it in ages. See, as somebody, Astro Zombie was asking about my dental situation. As I'm talking here, just just the movement and the things you do with your muscles and stuff is hurting. And I don't know. It's 2 weeks ago today that I had the surgery. I don't know if it's still be hurting, but the guy says it's okay, looks good, keep it going. I'll panic when it's like a month. Believe me, I'll make a rant video. One thing I like about you, Joe, is I've been watching for 10 years, and not once have you changed who you are as a person. Some channels here forget the viewers who helped them start. Thank you. I appreciate that, Astro Zombie. That's true. That means a lot. Coming from you, and that's what I try to do. And it's interesting. It's coming from you is it means a lot because you're not really a Beatles guy. You don't like the Beatles. Now, David says, I just had a tooth pulled. I am getting an implant. Well, that's the other thing. I don't know if I'm going to get an implant. I say I got it pulled 2 weeks ago. The reason I may get it is because it's a very important tooth. It's a chewing tooth. You need it to really chew. But I'm going to say I'm not going to get an implant. I'm not unless I can't. If I can chew without pain and without problem, I'm not going to bother. Doc seems like the nicest guy in the world. Doc is a nice guy. He's a great guy. Absolutely. Doc Docus. Doc Docus, you can pay me that money when you see me. All right. Oh man. See, like right now you made me think of my tooth. Right now it's there is no tooth there. It's also got a bone graft, which I wasn't, I don't know about that, but no, it is kind of strange, but that somebody would watch me so much for 10 years and not even like the Beatles. That's pretty amazing. Even though they're not my thing, Astro Zombie says, I do learn about music. I prefer pre-British invasion, to be honest. No, I get it. I get it. It's fine. Absolutely fine. I have ordered something you might have seen advertised on TV and radio. It's called Balance of Nature. Fruits and vegetables and capsules and all that. And in addition to eating fruits and vegetables anyway, here and there, I'm going to make sure I get the Balance of Nature. I'm going to try it. David says, I listen to the Beatles every day. They're therapy for me. Well, the thing about the Beatles, one thing is, it's happy stuff. I mean, there's some not so happy stuff, but for the most part, the Beatles are joyous and make you feel good for the most part. And that's really what's great about them. Hello to Gary. Hey, Gary. Gary's comics and movies. No, I get you. It's okay, Astro Zombie. You don't have to explain. I get it. I get it. Yeah, Maureen, that's the same with me as well. People think all I do is listen to the Beatles. I don't. And as a matter of fact, I get bored with the Beatles. I've said that many times. I love talking about them. I love collecting them. I love talking about them all the time. But I don't have to listen to them every day, and I don't. And sometimes if you allow enough time to go by without listening to the Beatles, when you actually do get around to listening to the Beatles again, they sound really great. It's like, wow, I've been away from these guys for a long time. I forgot how great they are. Peter Boothroyd, thank you very much. Peter Boothroyd here has made a super chat donation. I don't know why the number. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. So thank you very much for that, Peter. I appreciate it. Anybody else want to join him? That's fine. you know, every little bit helps. It's crazy. It really is. Look, I'm not crying poverty, although for me, I am indeed retired, and it's a lot harder than it was when I was working. But what are you going to do? You got to make different choices, here and there. Yeah, Penny Lane. I'll let you know what I think of Balance of Nature. Well, that's another thing. That's it's not cheap, I don't think, but I got a deal on it. But I think with Balance of Nature, though, you can't. You have to give it a few months. Like if it works right away, and I feel really significantly better right away, terrific. But if it doesn't, I'll give it a few months. Um, early Beatles sounded great on jukeboxes. I bet it did. I bet it did. Do I like the Eagles? Yes, I do, and I don't get the disdain for the Eagles. I really like a lot of Eagles stuff. I mean, the thing is, the only thing that I can understand for disdain wise and don't like them is something I feel too. I did a video on it a long time ago. Check it out. Overplayed on the radio. Like the Beatles. The Eagles are played a lot. Astro Zombie does love horror and Joe's knowledge on the classics and the B and even Z grade movies. Thank you. Good stuff. Yeah, tune into that. Stay tuned for that. I got some stuff here. I'm going to be making some more videos there. I have some new subjects. Subjects for the movie channel. By the way, my movie channel, in case you don't know, movie channel is called Mayo's Movie Marquee. You can type it in, Mayo's Movie Marquee, with a QUEE, or you can just go on my site and you can access the link there somewhere on my site. Was I into the Sex Pistols? No, but I do like some of the stuff from the Sex Pistols. Uh, Hello to Richard the Music Maniac. What's going on? Um, Mr. Beatles Pro asks me, how's the purge going? Well, the thing about that is, I'm selling records a little bit. I've sold some. I got a lot more to go, but I think I'm starting to get the feeling like I still am not giving up vinyl 100% because I bought this the other day. It's a French EP, Bob Dylan, Positively Fourth Street, and three other great songs. And it's really cool. And I got in, and I was playing the vinyl. I'm like, vinyl's fun. So, the deal, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's leave it there. It's like, yeah, I'm purging, but I might not purge as much as I was gonna, but I'm definitely purging. No doubt. This stuff here I just don't need at all. Definitely stuff I don't need at all. I think Gary is talking about a pig in a blanket, these little hot dog little things. But this is not the place for that, is it, Gary? Um, Hello, Sweden. Hello, hello. What's your favorite Wings album? It's hard to narrow it down to one. I love Venus and Mars. I think Venus and Mars and Back to the Edge are my two favorite Wings albums. Hello, Alan Cook. Doing good. Thanks for saying hi. And for those of you who don't know, I'm going to try to do this every week, hopefully. Sometimes I do other surprise chats, so stay notified. Hit the bell, notification bell, so you know when I'm doing a surprise uh, chat like this. But this is basic format of live catch up with Mayo. We're going to try to do at 4 p.m. Eastern every Saturday for a while. It's going to change. It used to be Sunday mornings when I was had to go to that other job thing, but yeah. Well, that's how I am, Maureen. You say you've been in a Wings mood more than the Beatles lately. Well, as I was saying earlier, I can't listen to the Beatles all the time. Just can't. However, I love listening to solo music because the solo music to me is not as played out for me yet. I mean, I'm still discovering things that are not tired. You know, did I hear that Kiss is ending touring? I thought they ended touring ages ago. I thought they did this last tour thing a few times. Am I right? No. So, hello, Paulina. What's my favorite uh Ruddles film? Probably Ouch. Yeah, yeah, Ouch. I'll go for Ouch. Yeah. Paul McCartney has one of the most impressive discographies of all time. I have to agree. He's done it all and continues to do it all. It's wonderful. Very lucky to have him. Paul being 81 years old and still vital and still wanting to do these things and playing concerts and making albums and doing projects. It's wonderful. It really is. Paul McCartney has carried the torch for the Beatles mightily. You know, my favorite George Harrison album is probably It's All Things Must Pass. And then after All Things Must Pass, my second favorite George album is Cloud Nine. Those are my two favorite George albums. Tom Hagnati says he wishes Paul McCartney would carry the torch for his solo career. That is funny. That is funny. Yeah, when he plays in concert, he plays too much Beatles, for one thing. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, as much as I love the solo stuff, I just think it's just great that Paul, through his concerts and his playing all that Beatles, was able to be like, I hate to say it, but like a nostalgia act in a way, keeping the Beatles alive for new generations who weren't able, if you weren't able to see the Beatles in a lot of new generations, where I didn't see the Beatles, I didn't get to see them. The next closest thing was Paul and doing his act, and that's fantastic. You're asking me about Deep Purple. I only like three Deep Purple songs. I like a lot more Led Zeppelin songs than I do Deep Purple. By the way, this would be a good time to say I haven't made an advertisement for it or anything, Tomorrow, we're going to be doing a live show over at the Two Legs podcast with Tom Hunyadi, Andy Nichols, Beatley Tone, Beatley Tones, the Beatles channel. And it's going to be stuck inside these four walls. We're going to do another live show. And go over there and check us out. It starts at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's just about 24 hours from now, give or take. 24 hours from now, there'll be a live show over there. And what you have to do is ask us opinion questions about the Beatles or solo Beatles, not trivia questions, opinion questions. You know, pose us different scenarios or different favorites, this or that. And then we go around, all of us, and we all answer the question. I do like Tommy James, yes, but what does that mean? I like a bunch of songs by Tommy James on his own and with the Shondells also. Good thing I remembered Two Legs. I forgot. Stuck inside these four walls. That's right. We're doing another one tomorrow. And I got to think of my question, Tom. I have to have my own question, I think, to ask the group, but I don't have one. I'll think about it 5 minutes before the show. You would think it's easy to get a lot of opinion questions regarding the Beatles and solo careers, you know? You can go around the table and ask everybody, but boy, I run dry. Oh, you're not late, kid. I understand. You know, if you can make it, great. It's always great to see you. But if you can't, you can't. It's fine. Okay, very good, Paulina. A little trivia there. What country did the Beatles do their first concert after the Hamburg time? I don't know that for sure. Well, I understand why people talk about Paul, over Ringo, but Ringo has a lot of good stuff. The video of me and my nephew, where he plays songs he liked in the car, and I spoke about them, was entertaining. Yeah, well, I haven't hung out with him in a long time like that, but he would do that. You know, he always likes to play new songs to try to see if I like them or not. And I got to say, he knows my taste pretty well. So a lot of the new stuff, I was gonna guess Sweden, but the hell with that. Anyway, then I thought Sweden '63, and I thought, is that the answer? I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Because I haven't gotten together doing that with my nephew in a while, but he does know my taste and he plays stuff from today that he thinks I might like, and he's been right most of the time. You know, it's good. But the problem with me, as I've said many times before, is I'm so spoiled by the Beatles because, in addition to the Beatles being fantastic with their music, they got great music, right? I also like the Beatles because they have four interesting separate personalities. I like the Beatles, the whole package, not just the music, but the Beatles themselves as people, you know. And to me, and also the mark that they made on the world, and and how much they changed the world. When you listen to stuff today, you can say, "Oh, that's a good song," yeah, but you forget it tomorrow, or next year, So there's none of that bells and whistles going with it, for me. I was right. People are going to think I'm trying to save face. I swear I'll even cross myself. I was going to say Sweden, but then I thought, oh, Sweden, that might be later, but I was going to say that. I'd be honest and tell you I screwed up. I didn't know the answer. I don't think Ringo was viewed as the least talented Beatle. I don't know about that. He's talented on the drums as drummer. Yes, I like the movie Caveman myself. Definitely, Caveman is a swell time. Ringo in a starring role and pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know what my very favorite Tommy James track is. I always talk about Dragging the Line, Tommy James when I was a kid. That's one of the singles I bought from the store. I remember buying that. Like it was only yesterday at the record store. Like I was like 9 years old. Uh, well, Gary never saw Caveman. Maybe you should check it out. See, let us know in one of our movie chats. We do our movie chat on my movie channel. Let us know what you think of it. And of course, Crimson and Clover. I love that as well. Even though I like Joan Jett's version, I probably prefer, uh, yeah, Tommy James version. Although I can like both of them equally because they're both just very different. Will I ever watch How I Won the War? I think one day I'll suffer through that. A lot of people say it's not so great. I've tried to watch it. I just can't get into it. I've seen all the John Lennon stuff. I've seen compilations, videos, and things where they use snippets of John scenes. So I've seen that. But I really need to see the whole thing. Well, Gary's being asked a question by Woodland Goblin there. So there you go. There you go. Love Joan Jett. Well, I'm a big Joan Jett fan. As I say, I met her in person, got my picture taken with her. Um, I've got her autograph several times. She is such a nice person. Really appreciates her fans. It's the main thing. She's the old school. She loves her fans. And yeah, like I said, I need to meet her again. One of these days because it's one more autograph I need. I got her to sign a bunch of things, and I appreciate that. But I've never gotten her to sign a Runaways album. And I have a Runaways album that's signed by Sherry Curry, Lita Ford, and Sandy West, the drummer who passed away. Uh, how's the audio now? Is the audio okay? I hope so. I'm going to say that again in case you didn't hear me. I don't know. I was saying that I got Joan Jett's autograph a bunch of times. I'm so grateful I haven't met her, but I haven't met her in many years. And since then, I've gotten Sherry Curry's autograph, Lita Ford's, and Sandy West all on a Runaways album live in Japan. So I would love very much to get one more opportunity to meet Joan and have her sign that. That would be so cool, because I came close in 2015. She was doing a free concert in Eisenhower Park, and I went over to the fence. It was like me and two other fans, and at the fence, and she got out of her uh, van, and she's like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, we should," but she didn't sign. She always, but that's part of today too. People used to sign a lot more in the old days. They don't do it as much, I don't think. No, I have autographs. Joan Jett, I have Joan Jett autographs. I Love Rock and Roll album and the third album called Album, the yellow cover. Those are two things that I got signed. Yeah, she was tough and could rock. Well, that's what I liked about her. She rock and roll was her life. And is her life. I mean, that's all she cares about. She says, "I love rock and roll." She's not kidding. Even though, of course, she didn't write that song. It's not her song, but she lives it. That's for sure. And there's a Joan Jett video. I have some Joan Jett stuff I want to show that I haven't shown yet. Maybe I'll make a video showing those things. I can find them all. But this place it's a disorder around here. It looks very orderly in the camera, what you can see. Everything looks very orderly, but if the camera went down or behind me or on this side over here, not so much. But why am I covering my mouth? Nobody's here. It's a good habit. It's a good habit to get into, right? So we're on an hour. We just hit the hour mark. I like these things to be about an hour, maybe a little longer. We go a little longer if you like. If there's any more comments to come, questions or anything. Pat Benatar. I like Pat Benatar also. I think she gets a lot of respect. I think that she used to get a lot more respect than Joan. So, Maureen, I feel that now I'm glad that Joan gets more than Pat. To me, the thing about Pat is she's great, and I have a lot of her albums, and I really like a lot of her stuff. But to me, she was like more the plastic rocker. Like she's playing a role, the role of a rocker. She's Joan lives it. To me, that's the difference. Well, that's kind of what Astro Zombie just said. Is kind of like what I feel, more of a poser for the music rather than in her veins. It's at least that's how I feel about it. I could be wrong. That's how I feel it. Yeah, my girlfriend's always saying that. Oh, but Joan Jett can't sing, and Mick Jagger can't sing, and these people can't sing. But now Ann Wilson, she says Ann Wilson can sing, and Pat Benatar. It's like no, I get you. She does have a powerful voice, but she's a much better singer in the like perfect sense, pitch sense or whatever. But yes, I do think John was obviously becoming softer in his music and Double Fantasy, but you don't know what he would have done. You don't know what would have happened. I'm not going to get into. I don't get into those questions. What would have happened? What would John have done in the past 43 years? I have no idea what he would have done. I have no idea. No, Lee. Hi, though, Lee. Hello, Lee. I'm not interested in. I don't think the Criterion Collection of the Monterey Pop Festival. With Sheena Easton, I liked the song "Morning Train" and I liked the song "Strut." I bought both those singles back in the day. I bought "Strut" and I bought "Morning Train," and then I like the song "For Your Eyes Only," I guess. But that's pretty much. I'm done. Not much to her after that. That's why I'm still a singles guy. I like 45s. Still singles guy. That's a great disc. See, I'm already lost which disc he's talking about. Damn. That's what happens in these discussions. Oh yeah, I went out there, kid. Yeah, I bought that Strut 45. Very good song. That's why I love it. I still love 45s for sure. When I get to playing a lot of vinyl, I'm going to be playing 45s. What's my favorite concert movie? I'm not big on. I was going to say I'm not big on live albums, but concert movies. My favorite concert movie is Concert for George, no doubt. I also like Rock Show, of course, Wings. I like the dance. I like Fleetwood Mac the dance. Those are among my favorite. Also, I like the Simon and Garfunkel Central Park concert in Central Park in 1981, which I went to. I was 19 years old. I went to that concert with my sister, God rest her soul, my younger sister. We couldn't get near the stage. We didn't even know where the stage was. We got to Central Park. We heard Mrs. Robinson being played somewhere. We couldn't track where it was coming from, and then we turned around and went home. So we sort of went there, you know. So yeah, well, Double Fantasy, I like Double Fantasy again a lot more now than I did when it came out. When it came out, I was just a teenager. You still could like it as a teenager. John even said, "I hope the young people will dig it." But I didn't make it for the young people. I made it for older people. I just think Double Fantasy is one of those albums that maybe you appreciate the songs more as you go on in life. So, well, if Fleetwood Mac is done, it wouldn't be too soon. I mean, they did a lot of different. Oh, I can't think what the term is. The word is a lot of form. I would say format. Yeah, a lot of lineups. Favorite song on Rumors? That's impossible. It's impossible. These days, I may say Gold Dust Woman. I love Dreams by Stevie Nicks, but that's another one of those songs that's played to death. All those songs, Go Your Own Way, Don't Stop, those things are played to death. I do love the Christine McVie songs on there. I love Oh Daddy. These days, I rather hear Oh Daddy. I rather hear Songbird. Christine McVie's a gorgeous voice. I'd rather hear those songs and maybe Gold Dust Woman by Stevie than the other ones. I'm not really familiar with the Jam. Yeah, Dreams is probably the best song on that album, but it's just so played out. That happens to a lot of things. Just like Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever in 1989, I fell in love with Full Moon Fever. I thought it was a fantastic album by Petty. And then I loved Free Fallin', and now Free Fallin', I can't, God, that thing is played to death. Free Fallin'. Oh, The Chain, one of the songs I haven't mentioned. I do like The Chain, but I just forgot to mention it. Well, first of all, I don't know about Rodriguez, but that's a lot of nonsense. I'll tell you, I'm glad you brought that up, Marcus, because listen to me well, everybody. The myth on Double Fantasy is that John and Yoko are trying to make a perfect couple. There's songs on there where they talk about the problems in their marriages. The song I'm Losing You, the song I'm Moving On. And this song, just like starting over, John is saying, let's try to get together again. Let's make it like it used to be. It's been too long since we took the time. You know, it'll be just like starting over. Why don't we take a trip somewhere like we used to in the early days? There's not that album says we're having problems. I don't know where anybody gets off, Robert Rodriguez or anybody else. I'm sorry, where anybody gets off saying that. And another one is Fred, John's personal assistant, that says the album is a myth and it's not the truth and it's fake and all this. They're not. I guess they haven't heard the lyrics in the last 43 years. Listen to the lyrics, and you'll see there are plenty of lyrics on there where they're showing that they're content and happy and they blah blah blah, but there's just as many lyrics saying they're having trouble and it's getting phony. I'm moving on. We're getting phony, and John can't get through to Yoko on the telephone. I'm losing you. Don't want to lose you now. All this kind of stuff. So I don't know where everybody gets these ideas that John and Yoko are like perpetuating a fake Romeo and Juliet myth where they're both absolutely in love 24/7 and there's no problems. You know, I mean, there are some lyrics that are over the top. No friends and yet no enemies. No rats aboard this magic ship of perfect harmony. That's a little too far in that one, but that's cleanup time. But I mean, it's amazing to me that, as far as I want to tell Tom and Kit, as far as buy me a Coke, I got a rant video that I'm going to upload right after I'm done with this. It has to do with Coca-Cola. It's a rant video, and I think you'll get a kick out of it. Besides Rumors and any Beatles album, what albums would you call perfect, Joe? I would call Cyndi Lauper's album "She's So Unusual" a perfect album. It's almost perfect all the way through. I know Kit wants to say Thriller, or maybe I don't know. I also like Blondie's album from 1979, "Eat to the Beat." You know, I think that's pretty perfect. But for me, it's so hard to have perfect albums because to me, so many of them have filler on it. Songs that just there may be an album with like 12 songs on it. You may say, oh, I really like 5 songs or 6 songs, but you know, a Dark Side of the Moon. That's that. Yeah. Sorry about my finger that I got to put there, folks. I know nothing I can do about that. Well, Marcus, I know what you're saying. I'm inclined to agree with you on that comment now, but that's up to the individual. Obviously, it's up to the individual. Nothing better than a 45 with a killer A and B side and a nice picture sleeve. To me, that is perfection. Well, Astro Zombie, then you should love the best single ever made, Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane by a group called the Beatles. Well, I agree. The Beatles might have been able to stay together another couple of years, but eventually, I told you, I really believe that they did the right thing by breaking up when they broke up, and I really think that had they gone on much longer, eventually they're going to hit a sour album. Eventually, they're going to hit an album that's not so great. If they were still all alive today, all four alive, and all four making Beatle records today, like the Rolling Stones, you're going to get a lot of mediocre stuff in there. And if the Stones think that the Stones and their fans, I'm a Stones fan, but I'm not a diehard fan. But if the Stones themselves and their diehard fans think that it's fantastic to keep on going and do mediocre tripe, it sounds all the same. Fine. Yeah, I know the Blue and Lonesome album. Blue and Lonesome album was good, but that was a kind of departure. That was a different thing. They hadn't done that in a while, that bluesy stuff. No, I think you're. I really, I don't agree with you, Henry. Maybe some of the younger people you hang around with think Yellow Submarine. First of all, Yellow Submarine doesn't count because it's a movie soundtrack album. One side is all the movie soundtrack of George Martin. The other song has songs repeated from the past Beatles. It's not even an album. Let It Be though. Some people don't like Let It Be the best. Let It Be has 3 number 1 songs on it, and It has Let It Be, the title track, Get Back, and Along the Winding Road. Three #1 songs on a sour, mediocre album. And the song Across the Universe is arguably a classic as well, even though it's not a #1 single or anything. So you got four classic tracks on there at least, not to mention all the other ones. It's amazing, it's amazing. I know some people rank Let It Be lower, but when you have like 12 great albums or whatever many they've got, 12 or 13 albums, when you got that many great albums, you know, how you gonna rank them? Any other group, any other group who ever existed in the past, any group that exists now, or any future group who will exist in the years to come, would kill to have their worst album be Let It Be. What do we got here? Well, I think that making an album, the Beatles singles, only my favorite ones, would make the best Beatle album ever for you. No, with the Beatles, you need every one of their albums. Every one of their albums is not. You must have every one. There's none that can be skipped. The regular core catalog. I'm not talking about other projects. So, new comments. It says here, sorry, folks. Sorry, bing. Taylor Swift or Adele? Adele all the way for me. Will I do another 8-hour StreamYard show? Not planning on it. But you never know. It's happened. It's happened a few times before. I've done two, at least two, maybe three 8-hour streams. I'd like to get another computer. I mean, I don't, as you see, I don't prefer doing it here on the phone, but I gotta get a new laptop. I agree. I think Skyfall is a great song, Bond song. I don't know whether it's my favorite Bond song, but it's great. And I don't know if you ask me which one's my favorite, you're gonna think I'm not so sure "Live and Let Die" is my favorite Bond song either. I love it. I think nobody does it better from The Spy Who Loves Me. I think that's my favorite Bond song. Do I like Madonna's songs? Anybody want to know what some of the answer to that is? Some of the songs. I like some Madonna songs. I think "Like a Virgin" is really her best. I love the song "Like a Virgin" and I love what it means. I love the idea that she's really like this filthy tramp, but this one guy that she's with makes her feel as though she's never been touched before. And I think that's a great idea for a song. Of course, you got to realize, yeah, forget it. I was going to say something about the Yellow Submarine. Not important. Never mind. Do I like solo Stevie Nicks? I do like a lot of solo Stevie Nicks. Yeah, I do. But I mean, I haven't played every track on every album, but um, I do like a lot of the solo stuff. There you go. Yeah, that is funny. Younger people review Beatles albums, put the early stuff down as lightweight, only about boy girl relationship. Yeah. Well, we need more of that stuff today, don't we? That kind of like sentiment. I don't know much about John Lennon half brothers. No, I don't. I don't know anything about them, honestly. Okay, I'm going to start wrapping it up now, folks. I mean, I've had a great time. It's gone on pretty long, longer than I expected. So I'm going to say, all right, well, don't forget, first of all, subscribe to my other channel. If you like movies and TV stuff, my other channel, you can find it here. The link's here on Mr. Mayo. But if you want to type it in, it's called Mayo's Movie Marquee. And then don't forget that tomorrow, over on the Two Legs channel, it's a number two, Legs. I'm doing more promotion here than Andy and Tom. There's going to be a show that we do called Stuck Inside These Four Walls, and get your questions ready. It'll be live. It'll be live at 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. We're on the Two Legs channel. And what you got to do is you got to ask us questions, but they're opinion questions. What do we think of this? What do we think of that? It could be scenarios about our collections, about what if this, what if that. Be creative and check that out. So, Henry asked me, will I keep this stream up? Well, the idea when I do this catch up with Mayo live stream, those, in case you haven't noticed that, evidently you have not, those stay up for the most part. Yeah. So there you go. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of you. Later.